Alright, welcome to the channel. If you guys want to know how I turned those two pieces of firewood into that, then just keep watching. Right away I have to tell you that the first step I did is not really necessary to make this piece, and for most it won't even be possible since it requires a massive 4-inch forstner bit and a decent sized drill press, and not everyone has that. But like I said, this is totally optional and will become more clear in a moment here. I started by lowering the table of the drill press almost all the way to accept this chunk of Douglas fir. Now the plan here is to drill out a massive hole to basically hollow out the mushroom and create a secret storage. Now before I started I sharpened the forstner bit, but right away I was struggling. Drilling into end grain like that right in the center where the hardwood is already difficult with a regular sized forstner bit, let alone with this giant 4-incher, so I decided to help out and use a 1-inch auger bit to remove some of the material beforehand. And as you can see, it did help, but it was still kind of tough, so I tried again and drilled even more holes to remove as much as I could, and then I kept working my way in there. This is, by the way, not smoke coming out of there, it's actually steam. Even though the log was sitting for years in the garage, it still had a high moisture content, which then just evaporated in contact with the forstner bit that became quite hot through all the friction. Now these time lapses give you the impression that all of this was the matter of minutes, but it actually took hours going back and forth between drilling holes with the cordless drill and switching back to the drill press. I drilled a hole in both pieces and then I marked out a line about 1 inch around the hole just so I know where to stop removing material. Because I was in an enclosed space in a garage, I didn't want to use a gas-powered chainsaw to roughly shape the pieces, so I used this 12-inch cordless battery-powered one instead, which works just fine for small jobs like this. Alright, so it's time to go a little bit more in detail and to smoothen out the rough cuts. I'm taking advantage here of the table saw workbench to mount those pieces to the side. That will give me a nice comfortable angle to work on them. For the next step, I highly recommend an angle grinder in combination with a Kutzall carving disc. Now those discs are not super cheap at around $80 Canadian, but they make the job so much easier, and if you take care of them, they will last a lifetime. Besides that, they're also just really fun to work with, so definitely worth the investment. Now check out how absolutely beautiful the bark looks like. Cutting and sanding it in such an angle reveals the super cool pattern, and I really wanted to preserve that, so I decided to give the bark a good coat of epoxy, and I made sure to let it soak into every single crack. Now I worked my way around the whole piece, and then I hit it real quick with a propane torch to get rid of any bubbles. To connect the two pieces together, I used a 3-inch door hinge. I had to modify it though to make it fit nicely. Of course, you wouldn't have to do any of this if you skip the whole secret compartment part. In that case, a big dowel and plenty of glue would work just fine. I also had to drill a couple new holes for more screws, and in order for the cap to sit snug on the stem, I needed to recess the hinge, and the cordless router did a great job in cutting out a pocket for it. Now it was time to connect both pieces together. I used pretty long screws for this to make sure it will hold, because the mushroom cap still had some serious weight to it. After that, I started to build a little platform for the mushroom to sit on to wrap this up. I'm super happy about how this turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, you might wanna check out the other videos on this channel. I bet there's something you find interesting. Either way, thanks for tuning in, and please consider subscribing. All you have to do for that is click that button right here.